Hi, I'm Scott. Welcome back to a special midweek edition of Canard Boulevard. This is not something I usually do, but I had a couple questions on my last video about Magnetos, which I'll put a link to up here, where I installed a overhauled Magneto. It was actually my Magneto that I took out in another video last, I think it was December 26th, I put a video out. And that's when I pulled the Magneto out of my airplane because it needed an overhaul, sent it in, and then Saturday I put a video out that showed me installing and testing the Magneto after the overhaul. I got a few comments about that video and it made me realize that not everybody that is watching this channel knows a whole lot about airplanes and necessarily knows what a Magneto does or what it is or anything about airplane engines at all. So I was demonstrating, hey, here's how you install it, but I never actually said what it is and what it's for and what it does and why. So that's what this video is going to be about. I'm going to talk about aircraft ignition systems. So a Magneto essentially is a generator. It's got some magnets that spin. The engine spins the magnets, and then it has a coil, kind of like a stator coil, that is a coil of wire. And when you move a magnet near a coil of wire, it generates electric current in that coil. What this is used for is to generate spark for the spark plugs to ignite the ignition inside the cylinders. And why do we use these Magnetos on aircraft engines? Primarily because this is a design, the aircraft engine design came from the 1930s, and it's basically a glorified tractor engine. And that's what engines used back then, was a Magneto. So let me talk about the Magneto itself and how it works, and then we'll explain why it's used on airplanes and better alternatives. So the Magneto does have that magnet that spins and generates a voltage inside a coil, but that voltage is nowhere near enough to generate a spark at the spark plugs. It also has to be only sparking at a certain time. As you saw, I was timing the Magneto to make sure that it sparked at precisely the right time in the cycle of the engine to make sure that it lit off the fuel-air mixture properly in the right time at where the engine was in degrees compared to where the piston was. And when the piston's at the very, very top, it's called top dead center. We want to ignite it just before that, in this engine, 25 degrees before that. So by the time it gets to top dead center, it's really started to burn, and now it can create a whole bunch of pressure and burn and push that piston down and create power in that engine. So there has to be some sort of timing mechanism in there that causes a spark to happen once in a while. And that's what you saw. I was showing the little points. And those points are driven off a cam, and those points open and close. So whenever a spark is required, those points open, and it causes the voltage in that coil to stop, obviously, because it's like opening a switch. And there's something that happens when you have a magnetic field in a coil like that. When you take away the impetus that's causing that magnetic field, it generates a spike of power because that magnetic flux is still there. It has to go somewhere. And so as it dissipates, it creates a giant peak of voltage. There's a secondary coil that is many, many, many hundreds or even thousands of turns of wire. And the more turns of wire you have, the higher the voltage. So if you had one coil here, it's just like a transformer. If you had one coil here that had 10 turns and one coil here that had 100 turns, you put current through this one, say you put 10 volts through this one, you get 100 volts out of that one. That's how transformers work. So it basically has the exact same thing. So you might get 100 volts in the primary coil, but you can get 10,000 volts out the secondary coil. And you need lots and lots of voltage to create a spark across the gap of the spark plug. 100 volts is not going to do it, but 10,000 volts will. When those points open, the magnetic field collapses and it generates a pulse which gets amplified by that secondary coil into about 10 to 12,000 volts, which is then connected to that cylinder and then generates a spark. And that lights off the fuel-air mixture in the cylinder. There's a distributor wheel that turns that in turns connects each one of the cylinders in turn as it turns, and that directs to make sure the correct cylinder is firing at the correct time. As you saw when I installed the Magneto, I timed it on cylinder 1. And so I set it up so that it was going to be firing cylinder 1. I timed it against cylinder 1, and that way we know the right cylinder is firing at the right time. So this works, and the reason it's used on airplanes is because it's entirely self-contained. It doesn't require any external power to run. You can run the engine on an airplane, shut down all the power, the engine keeps running because that self-contained Magneto is still generating spark. and is still generating all the power. It has no external dependencies. Another question I had was about the impulse coupler and what it does. The impulse coupler is generally installed on one magneto on the engine, and it's used to help with starting the engine. And the reason for that is a peculiarity with the magneto is that the energy of the spark is determined by the speed it's being turned. The faster you turn, the more voltage it creates, the higher energy spark. When you're just cranking the engine to start it, it's very, very slow. And it's not really generating much spark at all, if at any, because it's not turning fast enough to generate enough voltage. Also, that spark is occurring at 25 degrees before top dead center. It's possible that if you had a spark ignite at 25 degrees before top dead center and the engine is turning slowly, that it could actually start burning and creating pressure before the piston reached all the way up to top dead center, in which case it's going to violently shove the piston backwards and kick the engine backwards. That could do a lot of damage. So we need to do two things. One, we need to do something that causes the magneto to create more spark when you're starting the engine, and also delay the spark so that we don't have that problem with the engine kicking backwards and premature ignition. The impulse coupling does both of those. It has two little arms that stick out at low speeds, and they grab on little sprags on the outside of the magneto. When the engine gets above a certain speed, those arms come in and they no longer do that. So when it's starting, the impulse coupler grabs on and it has a spring in there. And so what happens is it stops the magneto from moving while the engine continues to move until the spring winds up, and then it suddenly lets go. And so that does two things. One, it delays the spark from occurring until it is time for it to happen. And second, when it does go, it gives it a violent flick that spins the magneto really quickly, and that generates enough spark to create the spark at the spark plugs to start the engine. So that's magnetos. Now on my engine, I have one magneto and I have one electronic ignition. The electronic ignition is different. It's kind of like what a car does. It has transistors and coils and a computer that determines when the spark should occur. And then instead of a mechanical device on the engine, it has a pickup that just looks at the rotation of the engine and identifies when the spark should occur based on the position of the camshaft. And why do we want that? Well, two reasons. One, the spark can be much, much hotter, much stronger, because it's determined by how much power the thing is capable of putting in. Two, it can also vary when the spark is occurring. A real problem with magnetos is fixed timing. It is at 25 degrees before top dead center for my airplane all the time, no matter what, except for when starting, obviously. However, when the engine is producing different levels of power at different altitudes, it's not ideal. The 25 degrees is only ideal for a specific power setting at a specific altitude. You can make the engine run much, much more efficiently if you can vary and advance that spark more when conditions call for it. So that's exactly what my electronic ignition does. When I am up at altitude and I pull the power back, it's advancing the spark up to 30, 35, even 38 degrees before top dead center, because the mixture is so much less dense, the air is a lot less air up there, the power setting's lower, and it gives the engine exactly the right amount of time to burn to create the maximum amount of power, so that the burning gases and the heat and pressure produced is being used to drive the piston downwards. If it's too late, then most of that energy just goes right out the exhaust and is wasted. So if we're going to have that fuel being burned, we might as well use it to create power in the engine. And that's exactly what the electronic ignition does for us. So at altitude and at cruise power settings, it gives us more power and it uses less fuel. Both are a good thing. So that's why we use the electronic ignition. The downside is it's dependent on external power. If I lose power in my airplane, alternator and battery fail, then my electronic ignition shuts off. I can still run the engine on the magneto alone. It won't run as well, but it will run. So there is redundancy there. And now that I have a second alternator also on my airplane, I have redundancy there as well. So I could lose an alternator, I'll still run both ignitions on my airplane and run all the instrumentation as well. So that's it. That's a quick explanation of the ignition systems on my airplane. I hope that answers the questions that I got on this channel. I appreciate you speaking up and saying, hey, I don't know what you're talking about. I definitely may sometimes explain things in a way that I've been around for my entire life and I understand it inside and out, and I forget that sometimes you don't. So if there's ever anything like that in the future, please do leave a comment on the video. I will do a video like this and try to explain what I'm talking about. If you have any questions that I haven't answered, please leave them in the comment section below. And if you take 2 seconds, click like on the video, subscribe to the channel, really helps me out. Thanks for watching.